Hello, dear viewers. Thank you so much for joining me. Well, I need to read on Biden for YouTube. I already did one for Patreon, and it's a rambling mess, but my my patrons were kind to watch some of it. It's hard, isn't it, when these stories come out about the candidates were behind. It's really tough, but we want to be open. We want to be receptive to truth. We want truth. And so it's time to read on that and ask Spirit, what do we know about this? And I'm glad I actually read on this, and I've been sort of reading on it in the meantime too, just to kind of get an understanding of what I'm hearing. So, regarding the accusations against Biden by Tara Reade, who was a staffer in the 90s and said then, apparently she said then that she felt uncomfortable in that office. There were maybe innuendos, maybe touches that just weren't right. And she says she made a complaint back then, but now in that complaint, there was nothing about a sexual assault. And apparently her mother called into Larry King at that time and said her daughter's having trouble with the senator, but there too didn't say anything about an assault, but sexual harassment or uncomfortable things like that. Yeah, it was like that kind of thing. And then apparently Tara Reade says that she was fired for that. So, and she was supervising interns, I believe. So since then, now she has said there's a sexual assault there, and there was actual, him putting his hands under her skirt, and their penetration and all of that. Now that is new. That's a new report. So, but the sexual harassment kinds of feelings, uncomfortable, but not touch that's not really appropriate, not specifically sexual, but seeming kind of like that kind of thing. She had been reported before by her to at least someone's maybe. But let's see now what of this. Biden's already come out and denied the whole thing, said, I don't even recall being told about any kind of report of potential harassment. I got to tell you guys, I watched that interview and that part feels like a lie to me. But the part where he says there was no sexual assault, he sounded pretty strong on that. I wish he would just 100% truthful about everything. Let's see. What should we know about this? We have the emperor, and that is right and wrong. There's right and wrong. There's some moral outrage about this. There's some, if you do this, it's going to cause that. Okay, so we have the emperor there. The clarifier is the 9 of Wands, the challenge card, I mean. He's embattled. This is going to be trouble. People will say his campaign is embattled by this. But that was a narrative that was already surfacing a while back. A lot of women came forward to say there were things that happened that made them uncomfortable and they didn't feel were appropriate at all. So, I mean, that's been something. And we've seen Biden seemingly have, some issues with boundaries. We've seen that. We've known that's there. But this is a step up, this accusation of sexual assault now. Underneath, we have the world in success and completion. Okay, I think this is probably the worst that comes out from her. Frankly, I think this means that he addresses it, and whether it's to everyone's satisfaction or not, it's not something that brings, you keep hearing it about it, yes, but it's not something that brings greater damage to his campaign. That's what I'm thinking that means. In the past, we have the High Priestess. So there are deep mysteries. It's a complicated picture is what I'm getting. It's a complicated picture. Okay. Above it all, we have the sun, the bright light of the sun. Everything is looked at under the sun. Everything is, exposed. My gut has been that I wish, I know that I would love to believe every single woman who says anything, but I am not so sure about the assault because my gut has always been not the aggression, not the aggression, not the aggression. So, yeah. And when I did the reading for Patreon, I kept seeing cards indicating the White House could have something to do with this. Not to say there's perfection here. In the immediate future is the Eight of Swords. You know what I feel like? I feel like we're all kind of bound up, like we don't know what the truth is. I feel like we don't get great clarity on exactly what happened. And it's sort of like, okay, well, I guess we can't completely know ever. We have a victory in cutting it away at the root of the matter. Yeah, I do think Biden is, he's said none of it happened, not even a little bit of it happened. And key Democrats have come out supporting him. Nancy Pelosi. Now, when I did that reading for Patreon days ago, I saw her card Nancy Pelosi kept coming up. And I thought that maybe meant there would be a Democratic leader of some type, because that card, that Queen of Wands, isn't always Nancy. It's Democratic female leaders that would challenge Joe Biden. Well, we came out with the support. I think there will still be a Democratic politician who challenges him as well. Their response is key to him putting it behind him. We have the Six of Coins for the immediate, the immediate environment. Yeah, that's shady politician stuff. So I'm sitting here asking myself, so is that somehow Tara Reade is being reimbursed? Is that quid pro quo kind of, we support Joe Biden because for the sake of our party, it benefits us both? Or is that both of those? It's a lot of political gaming going on here. There's on both sides, I think. There are a lot of political games being played here. Hopes and fears. Yeah, King of Wands, right? Hope to get a Democratic president. Well, and a lot of people just hope for anybody but Trump, for whoever that may be, because he is still scary all the time. Even wishing Kim Jong-un well. This is a bloody dictator who has 4 generations of a family killed when one person in that family tries to escape. That was his policy he introduced after his father's death. Before it was just the person would be executed. Now the 4 generations are executed. So yeah, we sure hope I do not, send positive healing. I send vibes for what is best for that particular soul. And I don't know that staying in power is best for that particular soul. New beginning, Empress, the Queen of Wands, a little bit of good news. Okay, so you can expect to hear the Democrats now finding some evidence that sheds doubt on Tara Reade's account of the sexual assault. That's what I'm seeing. I don't think that they're going to work too hard to shed doubt on her account of sexual harassment, because that, it's been known that sometimes Joe Biden has had some boundary issues with that, and perhaps more back then than now. So, but that's not aggression. That's not aggressive. Not to say it's not a big problem. It is a big problem. See, this is some of the mess I had in my last video on this. I don't want to minimize the damage that sexual harassment and making an uncomfortable workplace can do, because that's serious. That's a serious business. That is. I really wish Joe Biden would have been more truthful. I don't feel that he was truthful about times when he has crossed lines. That is harmful. And I don't know that a lot of men have had an awareness of where they're crossing those lines and how intimidating and uncomfortable that can be. So, okay. And women too. So women can cross those lines too. So it's sort of, that's an area where we should not minimize it at all. So I just want to put that out there. But yeah, I think Tara Reade there will be some things coming out that shed doubt on her most recent reports anyway of the sexual assault. That's what I think is happening here. I do think Joe Biden, the wagon circle around him, and that does help him a lot. And Nancy Pelosi putting her support behind him helps him a lot. So there's a new beginning. Yeah, I don't think this does a lot of damage to his campaign. Anything else, Spirit? But judgment does fall about that. I do feel like I'm not the only one who would still like to see some attention paid to uncomfortable kinds of touch or boundary violations. So I think there's some judgment though too. Yeah, we saw Mika on Morning Joe really grilling Joe Biden and just really putting his feet to the fire. And I think that was all right in a lot of ways, Okay, well, Spirit, is there anything else we should know about this particular situation? The Emperor again. Right and wrong has a way of coming out, The truth has a way of coming out. So I feel like if Joe Biden would have said, yes, I'm aware there were some things that made her uncomfortable, that I was made aware of that, and I feel terrible about that. But this new report of hers, I deny. I think that would have done a lot to satisfy the Emperor. That energy of, well, there's right and there's wrong. There is black and white sometimes but I think he has more trouble for the situation because he did not do that. Those are my thoughts on it. Feel free to share your own comments, and if you saw the cards a little differently, feel free to share that, because I find that interesting. So I will talk to you soon. Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.